Oh, shit.
You're recording, right?
That didn't get that close. How we doing, team? No, he's eating that spider web. Oh my gosh, you should have had the Blitz cam ready to go. He's like munching on this spider web over here. Look at him. Look, there was a big spider on there too. I wonder where it went. Oh, it's up there. Look at him.
Yummy.
I don't think there's any protein in spider webs.
Yummy.
Okay.
Speedcast.
All right, here we go.
Cast. Matt and Becca.
Welcome to episode of the Speed Pod. It's episode 10.
Instead of them turning it on 1.5 speed, we're just talking really fast like this the whole time.
Does anyone else do that, or do I live with a psycho that listens to their podcast on 2 times the speed?
No, I don't listen to 2 times.
Just trying to like get that information in the brain. The only time I've done that is when I had to listen to a book back in high school, and it was so boring, and I was just like speed it up a little bit, and it was like, and I was like, I'm totally getting something from this. But sometimes
no, I don't listen to 2 times. Normally 1.25 or 1.2.
Yes, it does save you
It
time.
depends.
But sometimes, like we've talked about this before, I'm the person that I can get into podcasts, I guess, if I find one that I like or that I'm really interested in, but you always have educational, like learning shit. I need to stop cussing already. Like going into your brain. And then when you put it at 2 times the speed, I just walk in and I'm like, I can't do this. I gotta leave. There's too much information flying around the house. It makes my brain explode.
You're like, I have to watch.
Do you get all that information?
You're like, I have to watch an old episode of
The Office or Arrested Development.
No, you've been watching the model show.
Yeah, I think I've seen all those seasons too.
Or something. What's wrong with education?
It's Project Runway. It's a great show.
What's wrong with education?
But I am watching like a lot of old seasons that this fashion is not in anymore. It's so ugly. So ugly. What am I to say about fashion though? It's episode 10. Woo! I wish we had those party like kazoo things, like so we could do that. And I was about to take out the confetti cannons in there, but I didn't want to vacuum it up when we were done with the episode. So pretend confetti. Episode 10. And the way to kick off episode 10, what?
Not pretend confetti. It's dark confetti.
No.
Oh,
no.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
No.
I've been teaching Rebecca all about dark matter and dark energy. And it just makes her...
It exists, but we have no proof that it exists. So
no, you
say hello to my imaginary squid friend that sits right here on the podcast. It's made of dark matter. You can't prove it, but he's here. Thank you for explaining and putting that useless information. Actually, it's very fascinating in a sense, but it's like useless information to me right now.
No, I should have never shared that with you because it's even more, you write it more into like, see, no one even knows what they're talking about. We're all clueless.
When anyone poses a question to me, I'm like, no one knows the answer anyway. So why are you even thinking of that?
There could be dark matter squids like moving all these objects. And how do we know they're not squids?
See? You see?
I know.
Why are you telling me these things? So I can just start making up whatever I want and saying, no, it's dark matter. You can't prove it. So for all I know is that there's a squid sitting right here next to me. Or Blitz has a squid friend too.
I don't think that's how it works, but
you can't prove how it works. You can't prove how it works. So as far as I'm concerned, there's squids floating around everywhere. Hi guys, welcome back to No Regrets, the podcast where you'll get all the information about fitness, coaching, and squids and whatever else wants to pop up on this podcast.
Burps.
And burps. We don't need to go into that detail again. Burps help you. Burps
You guys
help.
like my Blitz hat?
Pretty
It's
legit.
cool, right?
Pretty legit. That's what
I
Blitz looks like.
got an ad on Instagram, and I was
doesn't
like,
have
take my money immediately.
Take my money. It doesn't have a cute little white tail though.
No, his tail is, but I mean, almost everything else is the same.
Yeah, even his spots look the same. So to kick off episode 10, unfortunately, both Matt and I are sick this week. It has been a fun week, and this guy got me sick. This guy, because you started it. You started it, and now for some reason, usually it doesn't happen that way though. Usually like one person's down and we're just like, ha, sucker, I'll still take care of you. But at least that's not me. This time we both went down, and we don't get sick that often. So when we get sick, I mean, this is
I
not
wouldn't
too
say
bad.
this is sick. This is
just
like
I don't know.
congestion, sore throat, like a cold.
I'm like a little bit above that because I'm not sleeping well, and
I think that's the only thing is like lack of sleep or having to get up and.
I don't know what that had to do with my 3 bathroom breaks last night. That's not sickness.
Get up and clear out my nose or something like that. But.
Yeah, just like squirming all over the place, not getting any rest. I'm like, one moment I'm hot, one moment I'm cold, and Blitz is just sprawled off across the bed, just like, I'm good. I feel great. 10 episodes. Can you even believe it? A benchmark.
Blitzcam.
Blitzcam.
He's sleeping.
Can you imagine the day we get to 100 episodes and we're like, wow, we've been doing this for 100 weeks. That's going to be a cool day. Wow. The resemblance right there. Just a copy and paste image. You guys aren't getting the Blitz thrown right now because it's way too hard to set up and he only uses it for like 2 minutes. So you guys get the Blitz hat. Yeah, but what happens when we get to 100 episodes? Do you think we'll still have these awful mics? If it has anything to do with me, yes.
That's gonna be 2 years away. Do 1 a week.
Math boy.
We need to
we need to double them up. I don't know. People can't handle that yet. People can't handle 2 a week. Yeah, I can't handle 2 a week because I can't edit 2 a week. I can barely edit this one. Do I sound like do I sound stuffed up?
I can tell I sound differently every now and then. You'll get like raspiness in my voice.
That's an attractive trait, though. Sometimes some ladies like that. They're like, I like the raspy voice. I can't. This podcast is gonna go.
That sounds like a smoker's voice.
I'm tired. Okay.
Speed pod.
Speed pod. We are kicking off episode 10 with something I am so excited about. Because stay with me. You have like another 40 minutes with me right here. I've been waiting for this question. Have you been waiting for this question? You know what question it is for once. Guys, we're kicking off episode 10 with the love story that is Becca and Matt. What everybody wants to know. How cute it is, how juicy it is. All of the details. Because there's not that many. There's really not that many. But I want to thank this person, who shall not be named because everybody stays anonymous on there, for being such an awesome person, a fan, following along everything that we do, because I'm about to read her whole email that she sent at Gmail. I said her.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't supposed to do that. Okay, anyways, but getthatfusednews@gmail.com is where you send your long form questions, and she did just that. And I was waiting for this question to be asked in a very like ugly way. So I was already across like the last 5 episodes because I've been wanting to talk about the awesome relationship that is Becca and Matt because I think it's so awesome. What was I going with that? I can't focus today. My nose is stuffed up. No, but I was waiting for this question to be asked in such a negative way because that was like when we first came out with our relationship, I knew there was going to be a lot of like pushback and questions, which there should be because it's very unique and different and weird. But she asked it in such a loving, respectful, awesome way. So thank you for even having the guts, because so many people don't even have the guts to do that. So here we go. She said, first of all, congrats on 10 episodes. 10 episodes. My question is, do you and Matt have a cute story about your relationship or how it started? Obviously, you don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but we want to. But I think you guys are adorable. You both are clearly very happy, and screw the haters. LOL. Got that right. Lastly, thanks so much for all the effort you put into content creating. Really enjoy your podcast. Appreciate your move mindset videos, the dabs. Those are my daily ab videos. And of course, the funny reels. I love you. Seriously, like, I'm going to respond to this person. I'm going to send you something cool. Thank you for listening along and doing all the fun stuff. A lot of work goes into all the content creating, and we love to do it, especially the podcast.
Yes, thank you.
Into this question. Would you like to start us off?
No.
No. Okay. I answered this question. Oh wow! Now you want to start us off?
Go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
you go ahead.
You answered this question.
Do you like me? Okay, I have absolutely zero issues when it comes to talking about our relationship. And for anyone that's still currently a hater and wants to like comment and do all that nastiness over social media and you don't actually know us, like, that's so last year. Like, we seriously, like, I get that's so last year. Because I mean, we've been very open and honest about our relationship, especially when I'm talking about that, like, over social media for a long time now. So you gotta like just get caught up at this point. And I have zero issues with talking about our relationship because, like I said, I'm always an open book and I'm holding secrets and everything. That stuff exhausts me and everything. But I love, love, love our story. And the only thing that gets me scared about talking about it is that my words won't do it justice. So it's hard to even like start off this relationship conversation, besides the fact that I love you and you make me better. And I do have a lot of fun doing all of this stuff with you. And I'm excited to see what we do with that. Should we start back at our first date together? The one that we joke about all the time? Where did you take me?
That was a date.
Where did you take me on our first
date?
Where did you take me on our first date?
That was not a date.
What was it? It was a mix between, it was work. It was really work, but I'm like, ooh, our first date. Where was it? You know exactly what I'm talking about. Tell the people. They want to know. They want to know all the juicy secrets.
This was not a date. This was it was a Zen Planner meetup, which is Zen Planner is the management software we use at the gym, where you show up and they coach you through or teach you through how to use different parts of the platform. And so she was doing more, or starting to do more Zen Planner. Yeah, more work around the gym. And so we went there. I guess that was the first place we went together.
That was like the first place we went together to a different location other than the gym. So
I was not like, I call it Becca,
the Zen.
Would you like to go on a date to Zen Planner camp?
The people that were there were pretty amazing though. So there was like some other, see, the part about this question where it's a cute story. I have so many stories that I personally think are cute and I think we think are cute, but I mean, if you're not in on it, like, you wouldn't understand. You'd be like, that's so weird or like not cute. But I always joke about the first time we went out together, it was to that Zen Planner convention where we met like other gym owners. We still have the mugs, the free mugs that we got from this Zen Planner convention, but it really wasn't our first date. Our first date was the Arboretum. That was actually our first planned date, which was awesome, and I remember all of that because it was so much fun. Okay, So everybody has questions about our relationship because we have a pretty big age gap. It's 20 years. Okay? Get over it. Okay, chill out. But I don't everything about our relationship, I always say I wish I had something crazy, some crazy story to tell you guys. It just happened so naturally, and everybody gets so freaked out because I was rather young and everybody's trying to be all protective and everything, but I mean, nobody knows what's like truly goes on. And the biggest part about the buildup of our relationship is that our families were very, very involved. There were always people involved. There was always communication between the two of us. There was always communication between me and my parents. And my parents have known you for way longer than I've even known you because my mom came to the gym long before I did. And I mean, they always knew the person you were. Your family knew what was going on. So there was no like hidden secrecy of all this that everybody kind of paints in their head. But the other thing is like I don't expect people not to question it. So
No, I mean, it's like you said, I can see for knowing myself and who like I have a younger sister who's about your age, right? So I can totally get like if I was look from the outside looking in on her relationship and she was with an older guy or there was something, I would initially be very much like, what is going on here? But I get that like that feeling or that gut reaction to different things. And we even talked about that like early on when we started dating or like when we kind of started dating or being in a relationship and saying like, okay, what does this mean? And like, what are the some of the obstacles that are going to come up from this as far as the way people are going to react or how people are going to perceive this and are we willing to go through that and so uh, ultimately we're happy to share it, we're happy to like show everyone that we're happy and uh, kind of just what we're about together, and it's like trust, respect for one another. There's so many qualities about Rebecca that I value and love, and I mean, she does her crazy reels, but she's definitely like more mature than me in some ways. And so
yeah, because I don't bring up
we,
poop jokes and everything and fart jokes.
but
Okay.
I don't know. I'm kind of dovetailing on that, but I guess just the biggest thing is as far as cute stories. I mean, there was lots of just there wasn't like one. There isn't like one like
It
immediate
was
cute story,
yeah,
but
it was a
just like
natural buildup.
natural like being around each other, and admiration for one another, respect for one another, and then um, you know, eventually we fell in love.
Oh, that was cute.
Oh,
So this was way back when I graduated high school. I went through a year and a half of community college, realized that wasn't the route that I wanted to take. And then I just started working at the gym more because I knew this is where I wanted to be. This is where I just had to be. There was no other answer. And then obviously, Matt was coaching me at the time. I spent a lot of time training here. That's when I was training for the games as like a teenager. Well, before that, like I did my teenage years through the games and everything. So I was already spending a lot of time up here training. And then eventually I was like, I need a place at Bolt. I will help out Bolt. I want to start learning like off all the office tasks. I'll clean the gym, all the everything that the gym needed. And I mean, we just started as working together, building up this place together, figuring out problem solving, all the things that come with running a small business and everything. And yeah, like I said, it just kind of naturally grew from there. And then the biggest thing I can honestly say, like from our relationship, is it's 100% built on trust. When we have like the obstacle of like our age gap to go through, there was so much communication that had to be had, or it wouldn't have worked. Like just plain and simple. Like I said, between us, because the biggest thing is even I told you at the beginning of our relationship, I'm like, of course I know the situation that I'm in. I'm with someone who I feel like or has just been through a lot more than me, knows a lot more than me, and I realize the situation that I'm being in. So I was always open and honest with you of just like, hey, I'm going to tell you how I feel, and I need the honest communication back to make sure we understand where each other's heart is, where our minds are, and what our values are when it comes to just our relationship. And also really understanding the, like, as fun as it is, like there's the severity of the situation of, this is life changing, this is gonna, a lot of people are gonna question this, and it only made me, like, I think, us so much stronger, because we had to constantly question ourselves and our own values of, I knew what the situation that I was in. I was like, okay, where's my heart? Am I in this for us, or am I in this for some other reason that I'm trying to like dig up out of my feelings? And I know you've talked to me before about that. Like, I mean, you questioning yourself too.
Yeah.
I don't want to put words in your
No,
mouth.
I mean, we had the conversation. I mean, some of those conversations were, you know, thinking through like, why am I doing this? Like, what is the reasoning behind it? Obviously, you meet someone and you vibe with them, and you want to pursue that. But there was a lot of just being really. I mean, that's how I am in general. Like, I feel like I question like myself and everything that I do. I'm very thoughtful about things that I do, and I don't just go off and make rash decisions or crazy decisions. And so, yeah, I was very self-critical and making sure that I was being respectful of you. I mean, we had lots of conversations about that, and um, you know, um, and just personally, some of it is like, how is this going to affect my business and my gym and everything else? You know, like everyone here. Um, at Bolt, and so I didn't want that to become an issue with that. And then so it made us both communicate and kind of lay it out there, like, hey, I don't want this to be something that you resent me for, or down the road, or we had some different kind of conversations on, you know, what are we risking here, and are we both in this for the right reasons, and so yeah, I mean,
It
there were definitely some things that people can look at it from, um, maybe from a more outside view of
Yeah. Oh, I
somebody
totally
of
don't expect anyone to understand
right,
unless they know us
right,
personally.
right. And I think that that's a testament too. And like ultimately, what I rely on is like our relationships with our families and their thoughts and feelings about us, and then the people that are close to us and see us every day and are around our relationship and here at the gym and at Bolt. Those are the people that ultimately like I care about their feelings.
Mm.
But I totally understand some negative thoughts, or not negative thoughts, just the reaction to be like, whoa, that's kind of weird. And I do think it's weird. Sometimes I'm like, kind of crazy. I like being weird and different, but it is like,
In a
um,
funny sense, it kind
but
of fit
to
both of
us,
us.
yeah, it does fit both of us. And to us, it doesn't seem, it just seems like,
Normal.
no, I'm in love with this person. This is my wife. Um, this is my person. It doesn't feel
It
like
never
anything other
it
than like an
never
awesome
did.
relationship.
It
Yeah,
never
anything other
did.
than like an awesome
And
relationship.
that's the funny thing is, I will share it on my Instagram, but I responded to a, not as, it wasn't a mean comment, but it was definitely coming across in a very like passive aggressive way of asking about the skepticism of our relationship. And I was like, it really comes down to this. We don't owe any out we don't know owe any expectation to anyone from the outside. But do I want to share how powerful and how awesome I think our relationship is, and how like I'm I'm so happy. I hope you're as happy. You're not as happy as me, are you? Are you? That's a competition. I'm like the happiest person and the luckiest girl on planet Earth, and I want other people to see that and hopefully find their person, like I feel like I have. But in the end, I don't owe anyone an explanation besides you and our families, and I truly value their opinions and their perspectives on us, and the fact that they were involved through all of it with us is, it's good. It makes it's okay. It's right. It's what it's meant to be. And I can tell you this, even to this day I laugh so hard because you were always so respectful of me, my time, my age, where I was in life, my parents, my family, because this guy would come over and just when we were together first in the
That's
beginning
really like most
stages,
of our first dates were really like at your
it was
house,
just always
like
at the
me come
house.
like
And
cooking food with your family or
yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
and it was always in front of the family, very, very honest. And like, those are the days I just laugh so hard about, because I was like, I don't know how you did that. You just came over to the house and hung out with my family as we cooked and just watched TV, watched game shows, and all the fun, the little moments that just ultimately added up to where we are
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Those are the
I would
things that
say
make me
another a
laugh.
cool thing about our relationship, or cool, it's not wasn't a cool time in the world, but sometimes I kind of like look back on it, was just the 2020, when we got locked down in 2020, um, because I don't have any family around here, and so obviously you weren't supposed to be around a lot of people, and um, I spent a lot of time hanging out with you and your family then,
Mhm.
just because like y'all were
Close by
close, and like I
and
wanted to see you, and that's where we spent a lot of time together then, and I think just probably our relationship grew really strong in that time,
it wasn't even
and
just that, because we were together at that
that's what I'm
point
saying. But
in
I'm just saying,
2020.
like, just like being around, being a part of the family.
Yeah, but it
Um,
also, that was a really
it's a
cool
very
time
stressful
because
time
it
too, because
tested the business
yeah,
too. And that's where at that point, I'm completely, and I mean, especially at that point, I'm completely invested in both. I'm like, this is going to be where I am with you, and we're going to go through all of this together. And that's like 2020, things are shut down.
yeah,
No one's at the gym. We're holding memberships. The gym doesn't have any money coming in. And we're like the ultimate test of, okay, how do we shift gears? How do we work together? How do we communicate so this place stays alive and we keep building it, even through a time where it was just like so crazy. And we did just that. And that, I'm as crazy as that year was, for as all the reasons that it was, like even our relationship, like I never felt like personally I was out of control, like I was being put in a corner or being forced to do anything. Like we were so, it was so easy. And I know how much work went into our relationship, and that's what makes me so proud. The only thing that'll get me really defensive, people can come at me all day, it doesn't bother me, but as soon as someone goes after you, I'm just like, ha. I will fight you. I will mess you up. And it's not even just because it's just like that's what you do for a person. I was like, I know how much work and time and effort and honesty and truth went into this relationship. And it feels good on the other side because we can share it with you guys. And I hope you guys eventually find your person, or have a person that's like that. And it's so fun and easy. And you make me feel like we could handle anything and do anything that we
yeah,
want.
for sure,
I
without a
love
doubt,
you.
we can. I love you too.
I love you so much. And we're going to keep doing all this awesome stuff and laughing and just doing whatever we want in this crazy world, because there's lots of opportunities. And I, coming from someone who, when I was growing up, I was like, I'm not going to get married. I don't need another person. I don't need, I'm very glad I get to do it with the coolest person on planet Earth. Ta-da! Hope you guys like that.
Was that cute?
There's no like juicy secrets of, just because anytime drama or something popped up with our relationship, it was just like squished right there, because we don't deal with that. Just live your life, have fun, do what you want to do. Thank you so much for that question. I've been waiting to just like,
Follow your gut, trust your gut. That's
yeah,
another thing. I
and
mean,
be real with yourself.
and don't let people gaslight you, or don't get gaslit.
Man,
Live your life,
live your
enjoy it.
life. It's too short not to just live and do what you want to do. All right, we're going to move on to a few more questions. Tips for competing in a 2-day competition. Oh, we're actually getting into fitness now. We know a lot about that too. And still learning more about that stuff. But competing in 2-day competitions is this is a very generalized question. So I don't know. I assume you're going to be doing a 2-day competition. From the athlete's point of view, I would say get ready to feel like a trash can on day 2. because I mean, you can skirt by on like 1 day competitions with just being like adrenaline, go ham on every event, as long as you're like eating a little bit in between. But when it comes to 2 day competitions, and you have to come back for that second day feeling a little sore and a little bit wrecked, eating, recovering, and resting in between events becomes priority. I think so. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the hardest thing is
Eating.
you can't replicate that competition mode quite like that last 1 to 2% you give when you go 100% ham and in the pure on the competition floor. Like even if you push hard in the gym, it's hard to find ways to like kind of hit that last few percent, and that hits you a little bit harder and makes it harder to recover from. And so your nutrition, how you plan that out, and practicing that before you get to competition, because most people don't like to eat when they're competing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to like force yourself to eat.
Hard.
But practicing that like on a Saturday, doing 2 WODs, but practice eating in between the workouts and knowing for you what your body can handle, what kind of good carbs you can feel like you can get in, and then digest in time
cereal
to be able to perform again in a couple hours. So that's the biggest thing I would say is those multi-day competitions. If you've never done one, is trying to do some mini days or 2-a-days where you practice eating in between and see like what will I actually eat, what can I eat that won't mess me up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I see it a lot of times you end up just eating way less than you should, and then by the end you're kind of bonking and you're just ready for it to be over.
I mean, that really is the hardest part. You're going to go out there and you're going to put everything you have on the floor just because it's fun, the adrenaline's there. But seriously, when it comes to the longer competitions, it's going to be like refueling yourself, making sure you're recovered. Obviously, stretching in between and sitting down in between. I'm also bad at those things, but it's the eating part. You'll feel it by the end of day 2. Like if you're not refueling your body. At the games, you never saw me like if I was walking around, I had a bag of bagels. It was just like, do you want a bagel? You always ask me, do you want a half a bagel? And be like, by the end of it, I'm so surprised I still eat bagels because I was just like shoving bagels in my face and cereal and a little bit of like just sandwich meat too, but it was mostly just like carbs.
It's like 75% of my job at competition.
Here's a bagel. Here's
this.
The choco
eat
chip.
this. Eat this.
Yes, it is that. Carry around the
Finish
ice
eating
chest.
that. Finish eating that.
God. Did you make your protein? No, that's your job. Okay, good luck in your 2-day competition. I hope you crush it and recover well in between. Mac and cheese or pizza? Mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah, mac and cheese.
We eat pizza more, though, than mac and cheese. But mac and cheese. You made some killer mac and cheese. I was so surprised
that's
you
the
made
thing.
that.
Yeah, I know.
Because you just don't like make stuff like that most of the
What was that?
Mac and cheese.
But that's the thing. If there's something like mac and cheese, I don't want to get like the Kraft box mac and cheese. I want to make a legit.
We talk about how far my
and
nutrition
cheese.
has come. You know, that used to be like my lunch as a gymnast. That cup of Kraft mac and cheese.
I believe it.
You believe it?
That's not a crazy story to me.
That and cheese sandwiches. Bread, cheese, bread. Thanks, Mom. My mom has helped me big time with my nutrition over the years, so actually, thank you, Mom. Do you think newbies, this is probably in reference to last week's episode, do you think newbies should do accessory work themselves outside of class? Yeah.
If you're doing it correctly.
Yeah, that's a big thing. It's just like, that question is newbies, and ask your coach.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. I mean, if you're a self-motivated person, you can go like every accessory, you can educate yourself, go on YouTube, see the proper way to do a certain movement. But it's still good to have eyes on you, or even video yourself to see if you're actually doing it. Because I can't count the number of times where I'm like, straighten your arm like this.
I knew he was going to do the tricep extension.
Or
we did those recently.
Yeah, like straighten your arm like this, and then people are still doing like lat pull downs, and I'm like, no, this, and people don't understand it. So like having eyes But dude, you can learn so much. Internet is amazing. You can learn so much.
Shout
Education,
out to the internet.
podcasts. Shout out internet. Um, so, I mean, if you know, like, it's really simple to be like, hey, what are some accessory movements for upper body pressing? Because I really struggle with my overhead strength. There's tons of, you can watch like 5 videos of different things to try. And if you see like, oh, this one's working good, just make sure you're doing it right.
So the answer is yes, because accessory work is great for everyone. But if you don't know what you're doing, like do a little bit of research, video a little
Either do
bit.
the research and spend the time to learn, or if you want to speed up that cycle, ask a good coach.
There. Someone I'm always trying to, this is always going to be something we're beaten to death in the gym. It's like, this is sports, and in life, injuries do happen, aches and pains do happen, and I always want people to feel like they can even come into the gym even when they're injured or something pops up. And we do have an athlete in here that came into my class yesterday and couldn't squat, and we were doing heavy back squats. And I'm like, no big deal. I got like an arsenal of accessory work, knee rehab, and all this other stuff that we can try and use so you stay moving and everything. And they asked me, they were like, does this aggravate you, or does this annoy you when someone comes in and needs these severe modifications? And they weren't really that severe. I go, no, that's literally the reason I'm here.
That's our
That's
role.
our job.
And that's actually fun.
Yeah,
if you're a true coach, that's fun to try to figure out how to solve those problems.
Yeah, so.
And if you don't think that's fun, then you need to not coach.
Don't feel like you're putting an extra task on your coach if you're doing that, or anyone if you're doing that, because that's literally why we're here, to help you guys figure out how we can stay moving and keep progressing your fitness and your health, even when there's little obstacles in the way and everything. So that actually,
those are the types of questions, guys, that are like awesome, that get excited. What the type of questions we don't like is something we said 37 times and you ask how many reps. When you don't show the effort in those types of things that I've answered several times, that's when we'll probably get that, you'll get that annoyed coach's face, like,
go check the board.
Yeah. But like that kind of stuff, you're injured, you have an issue. Hey, maybe not even, like, I don't feel like my body doesn't feel like it's up for heavy back squats today. What can I do, coach? Okay, let's come up with a plan.
We got you.
Cool.
What is your best competition memory? I've been competing for a long time. There's lots of great memories. But it would be stupid not to say making it to the games last year. I mean, we talk about how you are passionate about your sport, and we talk about how much we love the work. And actually, one of my Move Mindset videos recently was like, do we actually love the work, or do we just love the stuff that comes from the work? And really, honestly, that's the answer. Is like, doing thrusters is not fun, but the benefit and the strength that you get from doing the crappy movements like that and putting in the work to succeed is what we love.
But it's like kind of like Pavlov's dog.
I do know that, but
yeah,
continue on.
Just like how the dog starts drooling before it eats. Like it's that anticipation and that excitement of the training is a reward at some point, because it's so connected to the actual reward when you finish. So at some point your brain connects the two, and it makes the hard training, or like, hey, in your mindset too, of like, hey, I know I'm working harder than somebody else. And you can kind of like lean into that science. Yeah. Well, that just, you can just lean into that, and it can become like a snowball of, oh, I like to come in here and grind and work my butt off because I know other people aren't willing to. I'm the only one doing this. And then that
it is kind of
connects with that connects with that reward. And it's like that anticipation, or that you're like the Pavlov's dog, you're almost enjoying it before you even, or your anticipation. That's
exactly what it feels like.
Your anticipation keeps you laser focused and just waiting to
when I go in and do my workouts, I'm just like drooling like a dog about to get its food. But yes, that is easily my favorite memory. Like, it still makes me so teary-eyed that it was such a long road of hard work and dedication, and to feel that type of success and to share it with you and my family, it still makes me
Yeah.
tear up, and seeing like the pictures and everything. That's what gets me fired up too, to keep training. I'm like, I want that again.
Right.
I want that.
Well, the thing you guys don't realize too is that obviously was a very close margin of making the games. It was super close between. I mean, even Brooke was like 1 point in front of you, so it was like fourth, fifth, and sixth were all like right so close. Which that's like CrossFit, right? That's the way that it is now. But when the coolest thing about that is when we saw the programming, we were like, we have a shot. Like we know we're good at all this stuff, but we have to like execute perfectly. And every single workout, like we see the last workout, and obviously the drop of the
Go back and watch
lunges, we
the
got it
last
up,
event
we
from
got it up, and we
Mid-Atlantic.
finished. But like if you go back through so many of the other workouts, she did a really good job of executing them to the best of her ability.
Yeah, it had to be
even
that way.
in a few that like some things didn't go our way with how judging discrepancies and some different things, you still like executed as perfectly as she could. And so that was a very proud, very, very awesome competition just as a whole, because there were so many little things.
There's a video of one of my Move Mindset videos that talks about how I made it to the CrossFit Games, and it's a pretty popular video just because I run through that whole story. So I hope you guys can check it out, because I get pretty emotional in that too. Wow, I'm just an emotional person, emotional wreck. But that whole weekend, and I knew going into it we had a shot because we did like the workouts. And I can look back, it's so cool when I can look back at over a year later, and I'm like, dude, I could totally smash that old Rebecca from 2022. Like, I'm so much stronger. But in that moment, like when we had a shot, I just knew it had to be executed so perfectly. Just being like in the past when I was a younger competitor, I was like, I almost don't believe in these moments that'll happen, or like it'll happen for me. Like, knowing how perfect we had to execute that workout, so I was like, what are the chances? And then when everything did happen, and then we had the stumble with the barbell right at the end to just finish it off in dramatic fashion, I guess. I remember like rolling onto the finish mat because I was just like gassed at that point. And I looked up at you, I go, oh no, like I missed it. Like I had that, and I was like, it's happening. Like, it's like I'm so close and it's not going to happen. And then he starts doing the math, and he's like, I think we're okay. And I was like, I don't believe you. I'm not going to believe anyone until someone says it, so my name is called. So it's just a whirlwind of just like emotion all over the place between like competitors, the family, myself.
There was such chaos in that moment.
It was so chaotic.
I knew where you had to be in relation to everyone else and how many people could be in between or not in relation to finishing. But when you dropped the bar, you were in first, and you dropped the bar and trying to like wheel you to get it back up. Like my whole focus like zoomed in.
Like,
and then I was and then I knew that Kelly had gotten in a little bit before you, but I was like, did anyone else? I couldn't figure out, like I had lost scope of the field because I was so focused on just trying to get you across. And then I was like, okay, did anyone else? Okay, no one did.
It was so crazy.
It was crazy.
And it will always be such a vivid memory of just, it's a really cool memory, and it keeps me fueled. Like, something like that keeps me fueled for training in here. I want that feeling again. So that's really cool. I hope you can check out that video. It's called How I Made It to the CrossFit Games, and I just talked through that whole memory. Favorite movie and singer? Man, these are not my questions when it comes to like famous people. I'm a cartoon person. I like Ice Age. And I talked about Spirit on another episode. But if we're talking like action movies,
I'm not a big movie guy.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta have some that you remember that like stick in your brain. Like, okay, that movie's fun to watch. I used to say Real Steel was like my favorite action movie, which is so like out there. I don't know what that is. It's a robot boxing movie. I'm like, sign me up for robot boxing when it's a thing.
And another one was singer.
Yeah, and I'm not good with like, I'm good with songs. Like, I just like a good song. I'm not like a fan of many artists. You like me some Lady Gaga, but you judge me for that one, so I get insecure.
Favorite, man, I don't know. One of the first concert we ever went to was Chris Stapleton.
Yeah, I didn't want to pick a country artist because I didn't want people to judge me though. I do love me some Chris Stapleton. That's where we went to for our first concert. Some Midland is nice. So those.
I mean, there's so many
Give someone
old
a movie.
school Robert Earl Keen.
Give someone a movie.
A movie?
Come on.
Give a good
Come on, you can do it. You can do it.
I don't have a favorite movie.
Winnie the Pooh. It's got bears in it.
Like I don't know the last time I went to a theater to watch a movie.
Well, when's the last time you watched?
The last movie we watched was The Big Short.
Yeah, that
movie.
was cool. Besides the fact that you just had to explain everything that was going on to me, which once I got it, like I was like, oh dang, this is intense. So yeah, and then it leaves you angry.
Yeah,
just it's like no happy ending to that movie. So I don't know how you feel about watching that one.
No one went to jail.
Okay, this is a great question. We only got 3 more questions.
All right.
How strongly do you feel training in Texas heat builds competitive mindset? Guys, it's been hot AF here. And I'm okay in the heat. Like we train in it every year. But we have had a streak of 105. That's like the actual temperature, and then it feels like 113 or something outside. And I didn't realize, I'm like, there's got to be other people like dealing with this same thing like, in other places, and I'm sure there are. But every time we get like a drop in coming around here, they're like, yeah, we get the heat over here, but no humidity, and we get the humidity over here, but not as hot. And then right here in Dallas, bam, heat, humidity, all of the above. So
here's the weather coming up: 106, 107, 105, 106, 108, 105, 108, 104, 103, 102, 101, 100, and then maybe we get below.
Oh, we might get some 90s in the near future.
I'd say the worst thing about Dallas is like it's a concrete jungle, so it doesn't cool down at night. Like even if you were in Texas but you're like not in the city, you'll get a little bit of a cool down at night. Here it stays so warm because of all the buildings and concrete.
So when it comes to training, there's definitely a part of me that like we're crazy heads when it comes to training. There's a part of me that's proud, and like the first day it was in the hundreds over here. We purposefully went outside and we're like, okay, time to welcome the heat and welcome the extra challenge of the heat by going out and doing a workout outside and teaching your body how to adjust and how to pace along with that in the heat, because it ain't going away. You might as well use it as a good training tool. So I do love the extremes. We also did that when it was like its coldest in winter, when it was like 11 around here, 11 degrees. We were like, layer it up. We'll go pull some sleds out in the cold. And that's always fun. And there's a part of me that's like proud of that. It ain't going away anytime soon, so you might as well use the extra challenge to get better and to get tougher through it. And there's a part of me that's like that, and I don't mind training in the heat. But there's also the other side of me that lately, since we've had this huge streak, I'm just like, sometimes I feel like my workouts are limited by how hot it is, and I don't like that I've had a streak of, I feel like I'm being held back by this. So there's like mixed feelings about it. But overall, I know
there's actually
you can build that mental fortitude.
Yeah, physical benefits of heat training as well. The issue is the stress on your body in the recovery to continually train in the heat. And I think that's the most challenging thing for you, and that we have to be better at in the future as we didn't have games training this year because we didn't make it, but is having breaks from the heat and allowing your body to fully cool down. Is that's really when you run into those issues is you do something, you lift at 3, you stay out there and coach or shoot some videos, and then you try to do another workout and you've been in the heat for 3-4 hours, and then you try to hit another workout. It's too much stress.
Yeah, there's been definitely a week or a couple weeks or some days where I'll just tell you, I'm like, I feel beat, I feel worn down, and it's just simply the feeling of my body never cooled down, or it didn't recover the way it was supposed to for my next session. So but it doesn't bother me. I like to welcome that challenge. It's just like we talk about when we explain it to our athletes that are just here in the class too. Be a smart athlete. This is another ball game you're playing in where you have to be strategic in that it's hotter. You might have to pace differently. You might have to stop and drink some water in between, or make sure you're staying hydrated throughout the day before you come and train with us. Grab towels, put them around your neck. So it's just a whole nother game. But I do think there's so much benefit to just mindset, being able to get yourself out there and be like, I'm going to be okay. Yeah. Like, let me push through this.
It's stress. Stress is good ultimately. Like, you want heat stress, like that sauna, heat or cold stress, that's getting in an ice tub. Like, your body, it's good for your body to experience different levels of stress. Just like exercise, that's stress, and your body adapts and becomes stronger from it. So there's a lot of benefits to it, but you just got to be smart. Especially as you're acclimatizing to it or getting used to it for the first time.
That is the quote I say. It almost comes up every day at the board. I'm like, be a smart athlete. You know how to do this. We're going to be okay. You just got to use your tools wisely, be smart, and then we'll get through it. Yeah, I was boosting the class earlier this week too. I was like, just imagine, even when it gets back into 90, you guys are just going to be cruising, crushing it all day. So there is that little bit of kind of almost how we talked about with the works mindset when you go to try to achieve something. It's like, if I can get through this, like, that's going to feel so easy. Like, I'm going to earn that. It's going to feel so
One thing
easy.
I will say, just for all the games athletes or for the people watching the games, and they're like, oh, it's not that hot in Madison, because the high will be like 85, and then people from the South or from Texas are like, why are they struggling so much? Is one, the heat on the field that turf, that artificial turf holds onto, is a lot.
I burnt my feet last year.
Even
blisters.
Most of us that train in the Texas heat, you're not under the sun load for the entire workout. You might go out and run in it, but then you come in and you have fans, or you're just not in the sun. And that makes a huge difference, like pushing your threshold of intensity because you're competing, and then there's just no sun. Shade. You're doing your pull-ups, you're doing your pig flips, you're doing your wall balls, everything in the sun. I mean, try it. Just try going to do something outside and take your barbell or kettlebell out there, or take your
alpaca event. You pointed out that some people, when they were chalking up, they went and sat in the shade.
Sat in the shade.
So smart. Even just that little bit. It was very cool to see those smart athletes doing that. The best in the world doing that. Very cool. Yeah, the heat is the heat. It's here to stay. So we got to be strategic and smart and use it. Are you taking any custom shoe requests? How much would they be? I like that this pops up on every episode. Yeah, I mean, there's a spot on my website. You guys can get in touch with me and we'll chat about what you're possibly looking for your shoes. But I mean, they are custom shoes. They ain't cheap, guys. And I got a lot of stuff on my plate depending on what you want to do. I was thinking about doing some basic mock-up designs, and putting them, like the digital version, on my website to see if anyone would maybe do that. They'd be like partly custom, like they would be hand painted. That would be more of the word, hand painted. So that might come to you guys, but there's a spot on my website.
Or you could just do some colorways, and then you could customize little things within those colors.
Yeah, that would be cool, like names or whatever.
Yeah, different stuff like that.
Something I really want to get into, guys. I really enjoy painting all of my shoes and everything, but I do a lot of stuff, so I gotta value.
I gotta make her charge it, because she enjoys it, but when she does something right. So she's not gonna. She spends a lot of time on it. It's not like you just
yes. I just do a lot.
Throw a bunch of paint on shoes.
It takes a long time. Last question, very important question. Can you fold a fitted sheet by yourself? You don't fold fitted sheets. There's actually like a way to fold them, I think. You can probably YouTube it. I'm not going to do that because why? It's like dark matter to me. But this is you do this, you like put the corners together, and then you just roll it up in a ball. So yes, you can. There's no such thing as folding fitted sheets.
Yeah, I mean,
I think there are ways. Do I care to know? No. That was the last important question of today's podcast. I didn't think of a workout, like always.
Yes, you did. You told me you wanted to. Which one was it?
What? Did I tell you I was already going to share a workout? That was last week. It's been a whole 7 days, man. Where have you been? Wow. Okay, pick a workout with it.
No,
I like the spice.
no, you did say the one we did last Friday, where I died. GHDs.
Oh, that's fancy though.
It's not that fancy.
It's not.
The
You
sled.
don't want a chipper? You want a chipper?
I thought that's the one you said, but maybe not.
Okay, that one's fun. And I also like the spicy row lunge couplet that we did last night.
Pick one.
Okay, I'll share the fancy one. How did it start?
Oh, sled push.
30-meter sled push. And we have our normal pull sleds. We get low and push them just by the plates.
Like a low sled.
A low sled. 30-meter low sled push that started heavy, right? Like 345s were there. Yeah. Okay, 30-meter sled push. And what do we do? 50 GHDs. You should just say it. I don't remember it.
30-meter sled push with the heaviest weight, 50 GHD sit-ups. Go out for another 30-meter sled push, but you have one less 45-pound plate. You come in, 40 cal.
The 30.
Yes, 30 cal bike, 30 cal echo bike. Back out for a push on the lightest sled. Come in, 15. We did kettlebell, shoulder to overhead. 70 for me, 53 for Rebecca. And then sled push again, come back, and it's basically back the way you came. 15 more shoulder to overhead. Then you go sled push on the bike. Sled push. Now you add the weight, just like you took it off on the way in. GHDs, then the heaviest sled push to finish.
That was fun. A little down and back chipper. Yeah, I definitely remember it was 30 calories, not 40. There's a big difference between that. It was a fun one. We did that out in the heat. We specifically wanted to get in the heat. The one I did yesterday, you programmed this, because I never programmed short workouts for myself. It was like a little 6-minuter. 30, 20, 10 calorie row with 90, 60, 30 foot lunge in between each row. The first lunge was back rack, so the 90 feet was back rack. The 60 foot was front rack. The 30 foot was overhead lunge. So that one was really fun. Took about 6 minutes. My butt sore. And that's what we're leaving you guys with. Thanks for hanging with our crazy selves as we talk through relationship advice and stories. Fitness advice and stories, and folding sheets advice stories, which means you don't fold fitted sheets. Come on. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and be ready for our weekly podcast episodes.
Let's come say bye. Never mind.
He's sleeping. He said no. We will see you guys later. Peace out.